Louis Armstrong, he was born in New Orleans on August 4th, 1901. He died in Corona, Queens, July 6th of 1971 at the age of 70. You all can see that from the PowerPoint. But what is very interesting about him, his kind of claim to fame, he revolutionized modern jazz. It was a lot different before he came around. Today, I just want to tell you a little bit of background about him, kind of the man behind the trumpet and the voice. And I have been fascinated with all things jazz, and him in particular, for a little over 20 years, and none of you better ask me how far over 20 years. So, from there, his early life, it's pretty common knowledge that his dad abandoned him and his mother as a baby. What wasn't so common, I found on the Louis Armstrong House Museum archives, which as far as I could tell was updated in 2012, they lived with his dad's mother up until he was 5 years old, which is when his mom decided to move him and his little sister, I think it was his older sister. I couldn't quite pin that down. But to what was essentially the shanties in New Orleans. It was really, I guess you guys would call it the ghetto. It was not a pretty place. At that same time, around age 5, he started singing on street corners for coins, and he befriended some Russian Jewish immigrants, and he worked in their parents' junk cart, traveling throughout New Orleans and selling just various things. It was a junk cart. They sold all kinds of stuff. From that junk cart, he bought his first cornet, and he self-taught himself to play. And so while he started incorporating that into his little street corner performances, and he did that for quite a long time. However, he was a prankster, which most young boys are. And at age 11, him and some of his friends got together on New Year's Eve and started firing guns into the air, which earned him a ticket to reform school. While he was there, he kind of honed his cornet skills, and he really blossomed. And when he got out of the reform school, he was discovered by Joe King, they called him King Oliver, and he was with the King Ori band. I can't pronounce it. It's O-R-Y. And from there, he moved to Chicago, eventually took over the King's place in the band, which was I'm drawing a blank on the name. But it ended up, he went on, he led a very rich life that got him quite a start in jazz. He ended up playing with a lot of big names. None of you tell me if you don't know any of these names. I've heard that enough. Sidney Bechet, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, all kinds of big names. He moved on from jazz, and he started in on with the Silver Screen. He was in all kinds of productions. One of them, probably one that you guys might know, he was with Barbra Streisand in Hello, Dolly. Don't tell me if you don't know that either. Most of his songs, you can still find them in circulation. They're pretty popular. They've withstood the test of time. It's been about a century. And to conclude that, he was an amazing man. He's got a legendary voice. And I have a small audio clip of him just because he's awesome. Hopefully. No, I don't. Okay. Hold on. Does this not play?
You might check the volume to the right of you on that little console. The glowing thing? No, it's maxed out.
Okay, well, never mind. I don't have audio for you, but it was What a Wonderful World. You can look it up, Google it. iTunes. It's an awesome song. It's in a lot of commercials, so people tend to know it. But that's it. I hope you learned a little something about it.